Hi, my beautiful friends. How are you? Welcome back to my channel, Tropical Empress and Spirit. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been to my channel before, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by to see me. My name's Amanda, and I wanted to talk about some of the psychic abilities that exist and some of the ones that I have. But I also want to talk about a question I often get asked. This is picking up from a last video I just made. Do spirits hear us? And the simple answer is yes, they do. They hear everything we say. You know, our loved ones on the other side are always listening and watching over us. If that's ever been a question and you're wondering, I'm here to answer that for you and to reassure you that yes, your loved ones are with you. They hear you. They know, all the things that are going on in your life, and they want you to know that you can talk to them anytime you want. They will hear you. And it doesn't matter how you want to talk to them. You know, whether you want to speak it out loud or you want to, just say it in your mind or write it down on a piece of paper or even type it up on a computer screen. Your loved ones will hear and see everything. And they do their best to try and connect with us and answer, our questions or, just to let us know that they're here. There's many different ways they try and connect with us. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And also I wanted to bring up something I meant to mention in my last video, which is psychic shielding. Whenever you want to connect with someone, a spirit, my suggestion to you is protect yourself, protect your energy in whatever way that is. So for an example, like me, I believe in God, so I'll say a prayer and ask God, to please protect me and to bring in all my guardian angels and spirit guides and loved ones to protect me and put a circle of light around me that nothing evil or negative can penetrate. So the only beings that can come through are the good, benevolent beings. So nothing evil can penetrate that. And they will do that. So just in your mind, picture a bright white light going around you like a bubble, or make it gold, blue, whatever color you want. And just say, please, use this light around me to protect me so nothing evil or negative can break through it. And then just simply, say out loud who it is you want to talk to. And, ask them to come forward and, talk to you. And some of those ways that they'll try and communicate with you is through your mind. Like an example of that would be if, say I wanted to talk to my dad. I would say, Dad, can you please come and sit with me? I'm missing you. I want to talk to you. Um, am I doing all right? Am I gonna be able to be okay buying this new house? Just an example, and wait and see. Like, the answers will normally come through the back of your mind. So you kind of want to focus with your question up here, and then it's like that little voice in the back of your head that's answering you, and that's your loved one, coming through, whoever that is. Another way would be to just sit in a quiet place, just talk to them, do what I suggested, and write those notes down. Whatever comes to your mind, write it down. And don't try and make sense of it. Just write it down and see what comes through. And sometimes you have to be patient. And that's the other thing I want to talk about. Because sometimes, our loved ones on the other side, when they go to heaven, they get assigned jobs, they step in and, they're not just watching over us 24/7, they are there, they're like a heartbeat away, but they also are assigned jobs to like look after other people, be their spirit guides or things like that. And then they're also visiting with loved ones who passed on before them. They're having like a big, huge party. So if you just recently lost a loved one, they're probably over there right now just having a blast. They want you to know they're okay. And, they're happy. They're in a beautiful, wonderful place, that we all, wish to be, one day when it's our time. So, I just want you to have patience, just understand that our loved ones never give up on trying to connect with us in all the different ways, which I will explain in, some today in this video and in future videos, and talk about many other things, concerning my psychic abilities and the things I've had to learn over the years dealing with all of them, because I have multiple different abilities. So, and it was all an adjustment and a long journey for me to go through, but I'm here now, and more accepting of it than I was back when I was a little girl, 6, 7 years old. So today I want to talk to you because I realize that some of the times we miss our loved ones the most is those special holidays, those special events, birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, anniversaries, are major milestones in our life. And then, you have Mother's Day and Father's Day, and which is why I wanted to make this video, is I realize this coming weekend is Father's Day. So to any of you out there who are missing, your dad, a grandfather, an uncle, a brother, even a close friend, or maybe your mentor who was like that father figure to you, I wanted to make this video in case, you're probably going to be sad, and you'll think about them at some point, and, wondering if they're around you, or, do they have messages for you. Well, I want to make this video to help, provide some guidance and empower you to how you can connect with them. So, like, I'm going to share with you, a couple of men in my life that I was thankful and lucky to call dad and daddy. I had my biological father, and I also had my stepfather, who was a second father to me. And so I'm going to talk about them today and share some of, my memories with them, but even my experiences since they've been gone, that where they've come through and let me know if they were around. So first I'm going to show you my dad and my daddy. So I look just like my daddy. So if you watched the last video and saw the picture of my mom and you're like, that can't be your mom. Yes, it's my mom, but I look just like my daddy. So I'm half Asian and I'm half white. So my dad is Japanese and Hawaiian or Polynesian, and my mother's English, Irish, and Scandinavian. So this is my father. I don't know if you can see that. It's not the best picture, but you can see I resemble him. I favor him a lot more than I do my mom. And then this is my stepdad, who I also call daddy. And I know it's not the best picture of him either. I apologize, but most of my pictures of my parents and, loved ones are in my storage unit until I move into my new house, which I'll be doing later this month. So those are the men in my life that I was lucky to have. And some of the memories of them are like, I remember my dad, he was big into fishing. My whole Asian side of family, in fact, they're fishermen mostly. And so I remember when I was a little girl, I was with my older brother and my dad, and we went to the lake to fish and camp out, And me, I wasn't a patient child, I was full of energy, and I just wanted to keep going, because back then my parents kept us busy. We were always on the go doing something. It was rare that we sat at home. So I remember going with my brother and my dad to the lake to fish. And, my dad and my brother over there holding their fishing poles, waiting to catch a bite, and I'm just wandering around along the shore of the lake, and just like, let them catch the fish, it was boring to me. I wasn't as into it, as I'm probably now that I'm older. So I would love to go deep sea fishing or go to a lake now and just sit there and relax, get in a boat, but anyway, so I was walking along the shore, and, I see this fish in the corner along the shore in the shallow area, and I remember I reached down to grab this fish, and I'm trying to hold on to it to dear life, and the thing's slippery, and I'm yelling at my dad. I'm like, Dad, oh, I just caught a fish. Look, I just caught a fish, come help, and then I hear my dad, just blow my bubble. He's like, Amanda, leave that fish alone. It's sick. I was like, oh, darn, I'm like, God, I thought I was going to be able to catch this fish without having to put a fishing pole out there. And then my dad's yelling at me, no, that fish is sick. Leave it alone, So that burst my bubble. But anyways, that's one of my favorite memories with him. And I remember spending a lot of time with my dad and my older brother in, my younger years before I hit my teen years, going fishing. We also, my dad was big into horse racing. We actually had a few horses that he raced, and there was one in particular that was a trophy horse that raced in many races, in like quarter horse races. So I have a lot of memories there. He was also a great bowler. Bowling runs in my family. Both my mom and my dad are great bowlers. My dad was like a local pro. My mama would have gone to be like a national pro if she had accepted the offer, because people had approached her asking her to join the World Pro Tour for bowling, but she ended up turning it down because by then she, was more settled and had 4 kids, and she didn't want to be away from us. So she didn't, agree to it, but I wish I got to see that. So, I got to watch my dad bowl. I love to watch him bowl, but I got to be honest, I enjoyed watching my mama bowl more. It was just different. So, and then my daddy, my stepfather, um, he was the big macho guy, but had a heart of gold, and he loved me just like his own daughter, and which I really appreciate, and it means a lot to me. He has been in my life since I was 4 years old, so that's also daddy to me, and he had a huge influence in my life, and between both my dad, my real dad, and my stepdad, they both taught me about cars because they were both into cars, worked in the car business. So I got to learn a lot about cars from them. And my stepdad was also a big sports fanatic. So when we were younger, I remember my parents had bought me and my younger brother this rec table for Christmas, and it was like one of those rec games where you can switch the board over to like play ping pong or pool. So my daddy introduced me to pool, which I loved. I fell in love with it just as much as I fell in love with bowling. And from that point on, I was hooked. And so with him, I remember, he didn't know too much that I had picked up pool that much. He didn't know, like on the weekends when I wasn't home, or, after I got off work, that I was going to the pool hall to play. I never told him that, because he was busy back then trying to work 2 jobs to help take care of us. And I was also pitching and working. And then my brother was all into other sports. So my daddy was busy with him too. Plus, you had my mother who was sick. So, I didn't share that much with him about me shooting pool, but turns out I ended up being pretty good at it, to where I play in tournaments, and, I've won, money, in the past. And so I remember, I wondered if my daddy would, if I ever got the opportunity to play him, because he would talk to me and my brother and my mama, when I was younger, about when he, in his college days, how he was like a little hustler. He'd go in a pool hall and play for money, and he would win. And, so I just wonder if daddy still had it. It was like, daddy, I want to play you. And I'm just, I'm wanting to play daddy. I want to know if I could beat him. So I finally did get my opportunity to play him, before he had passed away. And I just remember sitting there, at the pool table, and I'm playing, and I would end up leaving, if I missed my shot, I would most time would end up leaving the cue ball on the rail, and if you play pool, you understand making a shot on the rail is pretty difficult, unless you're very good and you know what you're doing. So I was playing him, and every single time I would miss my shot and I'd leave the cue ball on the rail, I could see the frustration in my daddy's face. He was like, grr. And I remember he looked up at me and he's like, I remember, I was told by your brother and others, you're good, but I didn't realize you were this good. So that was like, oh wow, getting a compliment from my daddy, and that, I'm good, and I can beat him, and that he was just amazed and so surprised that I picked it up that much, and I was that good to him. So that made me feel good, and that was my daddy's way of saying that he was proud of me. So I really love pool. I love bowling. I play both still, when I play in tournaments and leagues and so forth. So, but anyway, so that's one of my favorite memories of him too. So what I want you to know is is your loved ones, when you ever miss them, or, just wondering, are they around, you can bring them in. And what I mean by that is, like how I just said about describing, my experience, with my both my dad and, stepdad, my memories with them. That's what I mean. So spend some time if you can. Go out there and do something that your loved ones enjoyed in this life. Their passion, their love that made them happy, or even some of those things that maybe you spent time with them and have great memories doing with them. That will bring their energy in closer to you. And the other thing I want you to know is, on those holidays and special occasions, they're with you too. And don't think they're not there. I promise you, they are with you. So with Father's Day coming up this weekend, and knowing that I lost both my dads, I wanted to share with you some of my experiences after they passed away, to let you know how I've been able to feel them and know they're around me. And, maybe there's something that I say that will resonate, that, you can go back and think it's like, oh yeah, Amanda, I experienced something like that too, and to give you confirmation even that, yes, your loved ones are there. So, um, I lost my dad, my real dad, when I was 25, and it was hard, and I had some regrets, and because I lived 3,000 miles away, and so I didn't go home to California where I was born and I grew up until I was like 10, 11 years old. I didn't go home and visit him as much, and I didn't call him, and I felt terrible, so I didn't know what was going on with him, but he didn't really call me and keep me in the loop either. And when he passed away, I found out that, unfortunately, he had been homeless because he went through and was helping my older brother who got himself in some trouble and was paying for his legal and all that. So ended up making my father homeless. And I found that out sadly after he passed away. And I also found out that my father served in the military. He never told me about it, And I remember being at his service, and I was just amazed because he was honored. He got a military service. And instead of wanting to cry and all those things, I could do nothing but be proud. Be proud of my father, knowing that he devoted his time to service, to serving our country here, in the United States, in our, military. So I was proud. I got to watch them, fold his flag, do the three-gun salute. They played the what's that? What do they always play at memorial, the military services? Taps. So it was very moving, and I was so proud. And even the soldier, I was the one that was giving my father's flag, because even though I had an older brother and should have gone to him, unfortunately he was locked up at the time. So I was the next, so they gave it to me, and that meant a lot to me, to hold that and feel that, So, on the times when you might be missing a loved one, like I said, with Father's Day coming up, maybe you're missing your dad, maybe you're missing a grandfather, maybe it's an uncle, a brother, a friend, whoever that person is, that would be like that male role model, or, father figure. I hope that what I'm fixing to tell you will help to give you some peace and comfort, and hope that it'll help empower you to maybe be able to connect with your loved ones this weekend, if that's what you choose to do. So when my father died, I was sad, and I did cry in my own times, but I wasn't as nearly devastated as I was with my mom. And I remember, like, the year of his anniversary, the anniversary of his death, which was in November 2nd, in fact. I remember that week, of the anniversary of his death, I was in my room one night, and, I had a Buddha statue because, for my Asian culture, my grandfather was Buddhist, so I was honoring my Asian culture in that way. And I had my dad's picture up there, and, and I was just sitting there talking to him and just telling him, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I failed you. I'm sorry I didn't call you. I'm sorry I didn't come home and visit you like I should have. All those things, and I was crying, and, it's just sitting in my emotions, just thinking about just all those regrets and also trying to think of the happy, times when I was younger and all the times I'd spent with him. So I went through and I sat there in my bed, just crying. And it was about an hour later. Um, I get a scent, an overwhelming scent. It smelled like pumpkin pie. It was like the pumpkin spice and cinnamon is what it smelled like, and it was very strong. And my nose isn't the best. I don't have the best scent of smell. But this was so strong that it almost was like as if you put like a pumpkin pie like right underneath my nose. It was that strong. And I could smell it. I remember I kept going, and I was smelling it, and I kept smelling it, and it lasted maybe 10, 15 seconds, and then it went away, and it's like, "Oh my gosh," you know, what's going on here?" It's like, and then I remembered my father loved pumpkin pie. That was one of his favorites around, the Thanksgiving holiday, in which we were in November because Thanksgiving's in November here in the United States. So, I knew he was there. And he was coming in to comfort me and to let me know that, yes, he was there, that he knew I was sad, and, to reassure me that he was still around. And I also felt him touch me. Like I felt him touch my face, and it made me feel really good, and so I did. I sat there and talked to him and I said, "Dad, thank you for coming by to see me, I have all these regrets and I'm sorry, but I'm sorry I failed you as a daughter, but, you know, I hope you'll stick around. I hope, you're okay and you'll watch over me, And so that made me feel good, because like I said, the anniversary of your loved one's death is very hard. And I do understand that very much, So that's one of those times that they will come by because they know you're going to be sad and they don't want to see you sad, Our loved ones hate to see us cry. That's the biggest thing they don't like. They don't like to see us cry. So they always want to be there to comfort us, especially when our tears is for them. It's missing them, wondering if they're okay, are they at peace, do they make it to the other side, and so on, They want you to know, yes, they are okay and they are watching over you and they hear you everything and they know everything that's going on in your life, so, and this is where I'm going to go into the next with my stepfather. I shared a memory, about me, kicking his butt, before he died. Now I'm going to tell you an experience I had after he died. He so happened to die a few days after Father's Day. June 22nd, in fact, was the day he died. And so I remember the day I got the call. It was expected, but it was also unexpected. And my brother, my younger brother, ringed me and gives me the news, and I'm in shock, and he's crying, and I'm trying my best to comfort him and not cry myself, And so I'm just sitting there listening to my brother on the phone, and I suddenly felt like someone touched my face, like my forehead, and I knew that was Daddy. Daddy was coming by to, say his goodbye since I wasn't there physically when he, took his last breaths. That was him coming by. And then I remember the year of his anniversary, the first year, I think it was, I didn't want to be sad. I didn't want to think about him in that sadness. And I knew he didn't want me to be sad over him either, but so I just sat there and thought, like, what can I do to honor his memory, to celebrate him, to get me out of that sadness to where I can feel closer to him and do something to let him know I'm thinking of him and so on. So I made a decision to enter into a pool tournament and I would play it that weekend. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, it just happened to fall on the day he died. And so I decided to sign up for the tournament, And after I signed up for the tournament, I was like, okay, well, Daddy, I hope you come. I hope you're there. I hope you know that I'm playing this tournament for you. This is for my love to you, to show you I love you, I appreciate you. Thank you for showing me this great sport that I love, that I'm passionate about, and I hope you'll be there to watch me. So, and I left it at that. I didn't wait to see if he would respond or anything like that, if I would hear his voice or anything. I just left it at that. Well, the morning of the tournament, I wake up, and as soon as I woke up and I opened my eyes, immediately I felt him there. I can feel the energy of his spirit in my bedroom. In fact, I remember when I opened up my eyes, I immediately said it out loud, Daddy. And I looked towards my bedroom door because I felt like that's where he was. And I knew he was there. I didn't see him. I didn't hear his voice, but I felt him. And it was so strong. Like, my daddy, because he was such a macho man, he had that presence that vibrates through the earth that you can't miss. Whenever he entered a room, you knew he was there. you know some people would describe him as intense because, his love, sports fanatic, screaming at the TV, watching all his sports and all that. So he was that strong, and I felt that, and I was thankful. It's like, so I said, Daddy, like I'm waiting for him to respond to me, but he didn't. I didn't hear anything. And I didn't try and go through and like tune into it to see if I would get anything in my mind, because I knew I had to get up and get busy to get to the pool hall for the tournament. So I get dressed and I go to get in the car and I drive to the tournament, and and I'm there, and and I play my first match, and I end up losing, but thank God I had a second chance. Someone really whooped my butt. But that's the way you learn too in that sport. You got to play with the best in order to become some of the best. So that was my lesson, and I felt my daddy there. Like throughout that day, periodically when I wouldn't be playing a match, I would be watching other players, some of my friends playing. I could feel my daddy in the room. He was there and he was watching me and being supportive, which I greatly loved, that he was there spending that time with me. He came especially just to watch, his baby play. And so after the tournament was over, I didn't place, I think, or maybe I placed second, but I get home, or I'm sorry, I get in my car to drive home, and on my way home, like about halfway to the house, I end up hitting a red light, and I got a sports car. I got two Z28 Camaros, in fact, in which I got from my mom, and she loves Z28 Camaros. If you watched the last video, you would have heard me mention that. So, it's a strong, powerful car. So I hit the brakes at the light. Well, my car skids, and it almost skidded into the other lane. I was like, oh no, no, and it scared me, and I'm like, oh, no. And I even saw my traction light in my dashboard light up. And I knew I lost traction. I'm like, no, it's my tires, you know. So I pull over to the side of the road, off the interstate, and I get out and I go and look. Sure enough, it's my tires. I didn't have a flat tire, but my tires were so thin that they were losing traction every single time. You hit the brake and it skids off the road, and it's like, oh no. I just have halfway to get home, and I'm just like, oh jeez, let me get home safe. So I get back in my car and I'm like, Daddy, I know you're here. I still feel you. I said, I know you probably want to scream at me right now because I know how you are with cars. You always taught me to take good care of my cars, and I'm sorry that I let my tires get, so thin, but I promise, tomorrow I'll go and get brand new tires put on right away. I said, but Daddy, right now, can you please help me? Help me get this car back on the road safely, so I don't wreck, so I don't hit another car. And Daddy, just please get me home safely. And I promise I'll take care of the tires tomorrow. So as soon as, I said that, then I can hear my daddy like slowly hit the gas and just kind of turn the wheel a little bit. Don't punch it, just slowly, because it's a sports car. It doesn't need much to get it back on the road. So I did that, And I even saw orbs leave out my windshield. And I think that was my daddy kind of helping, with the tires to get me back on the road. And so I get home safely, thank God. I pull into my garage and, I turn the car off and I just sit there and say, Daddy, thank you. Thank you for coming and spend the day with me. I greatly appreciate it. I needed to feel you there. I needed your love and support. Thank you for being there for me to watch me play today. And thank you for getting me home safely. And I love you and I miss you. And, now I'm going to go inside and, so it's okay if, take off now. And then I saw a blue orb leave out of my car. And that was my daddy, leaving. So that was my experience after he died, and it meant so much to me, and to feel his love, his energy, his support from the other side. I really needed to feel that from him, at that time. So I wasn't sad, because I knew, again, he didn't want me to be sad. He didn't want me to cry. So I did my best to not cry. And that was the only thing I could think of, is to play pool, because he loved it. He enjoyed it, and we had our memories together playing. So I wanted to honor him in that way. And that's what I want you to know, is if you want to bring your loved ones in closer, do something in honor of them. What was that thing they loved in this life to do? Like, if you're going to be missing, a father, grandfather, uncle, whoever, this weekend, what were those things in this life they loved to do? Did they love to play golf? You know, were they, baseball fans? What are those things? Maybe they like to paint, or maybe they were good with their hands and like to put things together. So whatever those things are, do something like that. And that, when you do that, it brings their energy closer to you, to where they connect with you, and you'll feel them. You'll feel them on those days. Or another thing you can do, we all love music. Music is that music is that oh my gosh. Music is the universal language we all understand. And so another thing I'll do is, like, when I'm missing my dad, I'll go through, like when I was on my way to the pool hall that day, years back, I ended up turning the station to the rock station, because my daddy was a rocker. He loved rock music. I even remember, being in the car, being in the back seat, and he'd be driving and he's holding the steering wheel and going, just like, like he's playing the drums, So I play his music, or I'll play my real dad, I'll play his music. He was born in 44. So he has like those 60s kind of music, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Like, there was this one song that I remember my real father played. He had one of those cassette tapes, and when I would get in the car with him, he always played this one song, and some of y'all might know what this song is. I don't know the name. I can't even tell you who the band is, but the song goes, dream, 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 when I love you, in the night, when I something you, and hold you tight, something like that. I'm not a good singer, so please forgive my singing, but it's something like that. So I'll try and pull up that song and play it, and that brings, my real father's energy in closer to me, to where he will try and connect with me. But it's on those days, what I want you to know, it's on those days, when it's a holiday, a birthday, an anniversary, or like this weekend, Father's Day, and you're missing that loved one, you know, do something like that, in honor of them. They love that. They love to see us enjoy life, and that's all they want for us to do. They want us to be happy and go out there and live life. And they love it, and they eat it up when you do some of the things that they also love to do when they were here in the physical. So that's what I want you to know. Don't ever think that they're not around. Don't ever think that they don't know, when you're going through your struggles, when your heart is hurting just from missing them, wishing they were there to talk to you, they are there, anytime you say their name, that's like ringing heaven, that's exactly what you're doing. And, maybe they'll come to you right away, but, maybe they're busy doing something, but understand that they will get your message, they will hear you, and they do a lot of different things to try and connect with you, to let you know they are around. Like, if you ever hear like someone knocking on your door, a wall, a table, that's one of the things they'll do to try and catch your attention, to let you know they are around. There's many different ways, which I'll talk in future videos, but I wanted to make this video just to kind of share this, for, the people out there that I know need to hear this right now. Know that they're there. There are different things you can try to do to connect with them and bring them in. And another thing that I wanted you to know is, there's, when I was talking about protecting yourself, saying a prayer or a ritual, whatever, there's also crystals you can get that will help protect your energy. So, like, there's black tourmaline's one of them. Another one, I have a black obsidian spear here that I use for protection. Um, and if I, want to draw my loved ones in closer, there are some crystals out there that you can use to try and use that energy to connect with them, that will kind of open you up. People always talk about the third eye, and if you've ever seen pictures where it looks like a woman has like an eye here, and it is in this space. This is your third eye, but what I call it is your psychic eye. That's where a lot of your information comes through. It's that that invisible eye, but it's not there, and it's just a space where they come through, and you can get messages that way. Or maybe you're clairvoyant like me, who sees spirits and spirit orbs, or clairaudient, you hear them. Or maybe you're an empath. I'm those too, just to name a few. If you ever wonder, just get you some crystals. This is an angel aura quartz crystal, and it's good for like um for psychic abilities, like to help open you up. And you just hold it in your hand and just close your eyes and just meditate and feel the energy, and just have an intention, and that's the other thing. Have an intention whenever you want to talk to your loved ones. Have the intention and say, out loud, Dad, can you please come through, and just put it out there in the universe. And hold this crystal. You can even hold a picture of your dad, if you want, like I do. Sometimes I'll do that too, and I'll put their picture in my hand, or a memento, and that'll bring them through. Just know that they're always there watching. They're not missing a beat of your life. And they enjoy being there, and they want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. They want to connect with you. And there are so many different ways that they will try and connect with you. So, but I hope this video helps you in some way. I hope there's something in it that I've said that will resonate with you, that you can take away, that will give you validation of some experiences maybe you've experienced and you weren't sure, or maybe this is just a guidance, just to see, to open up yourself, open up to your psychic abilities, because we all have them, even if it's just one, we do have them. So I want you to know that too, and that anytime you're in doubt, just talk to your loved ones. Talk to your spirit guides, talk to your guardian angels. And if you believe in a God, I know some of y'all don't, and that's okay. Or some of y'all don't have a name, you just call it, a higher source. Whoever it is, just talk to them, let them know you want to connect and to help you. And they will. They will help you, and they'll come through. And if anything at all, one more thing I want you to know is our loved ones visit us in our dreams. They come through. That is one of the easiest ways for them to connect with us, is in our dreams. Maybe some of y'all have had, dreams of your loved ones who have passed away, and wondered, more than likely it was a visitation from them. And that's them, letting you know they are still with you. I've even had dreams of my loved ones, and I'll do another video about, dream visits and all that in the future. So, but I hope that this has been very helpful, and comforts you in some way, and spread your love out there into the world and energy, and go out there and honor your loved ones. They'll be there, and share your memories of them with the people you love and care about. They love to hear about that too. You know, our loved ones get a kick out of it. You know, you share jokes and laughs. They really love that. They want you to remember them that way in the happy times and to talk about them. So please, you know, go out there, you know, talk to them, you know, ask them for help and guidance, and they'll come through. So I hope this video helps you and resonates with you. And if it has, you know, please consider liking and subscribing and sharing my video. And, you know, so, you know, hit that bell button so you'll get all notifications of any new videos I put out in the future. And I want to give a quick shout out to Miss Jane, the Seeker Tarot. She did an angel card reading for me this morning. And she pulled up the angel card. It was the goddess Gaia, who is the mother, the goddess of nature. And the card showed her in like a leopard print dress. And I told Jane that I have that dress. Well, Jane, this is for you in case you're watching. Here's my leopard print dress that I told you I had. So I just wanted to share that with you, sweetheart, and give a good shout out to you and thank you for that, you know, angel card reading earlier today. I greatly appreciate it. And to everyone else who's been here, you know, to all, you know, my tarot readers out there, I give so much love to you all for sharing your love and energy with me and being there supporting me, and all the other ones who may have found me, or maybe you found me on another social media platform and, you know, I asked you, invited you to come here to find me and, you know, to be able to see me and hear me and everything. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope I will see you again in the future. So until then, please be blessed. I wish you many blessings. I wish you a lot of happiness, joy, prosperity, abundance, peace, and go out there and connect with your loved ones. They're waiting to hear from you. Until next time, bye.